Hey, Pooja. Hi, Kate. Happy Friday. Helen for Youth at Studio. Woo! Bally, we're in. I didn't even have a physical copy of this book, by the way. Hey, Mel. Oh, we're in. Just me scratch my imaginary beard. Ah, gosh. My wisdom teeth is still playing up, so there'll be no yawning or anything for me. It's too painful. Hey, Nazreen. Dun, dun, dun. Team players are in. Out of interest, before we get going, who has read the book? Hey, Belly. Who's read this book in preparation? I think I've got a bit of water in here. This is sad times. Oh, it's the smallest bit. Well, that was a pointless exercise. Heather's here. Heather, have you read this book? Have you? Well, ooh. Hello. Hey, Ricky. Thank cheese, it's Friday. I was eating the cheese, but who moved my cheese? Hey, Hammer. Kate's watched it. Yeah. I mean, I've said it before, this is the third time I've read it. So we'll see. I'm going to go through, for those who haven't watched it, I'm going to go through the, hey, Layla. Ah, it's Layla. Oh, loving this. Layla. She's on Facebook. Layla. I've not sung with Layla for ages. Hi. Gone through it again today. So we remember the story, and then we know how it's going to go, I think. I will say this, as I'm telling the story, or telling the narrative, everybody have to think about who they are in this shenanigans. Which character they think they are, because everybody's one character at some point in this. I think I've been all of them, probably all at the same time, like some kind of mentalist. So for those of you who've not heard me talk about this quite a lot, and somebody tell me the name of the writer, please, because I've probably got the book in front of them, because to the 7th millionth time, I can't remember. So Who Moved My Cheese is a brilliant book in terms of what's happening right now, especially if you're in the Leicestershire area. Which you can listen to them, Nazreen. That's why you can listen to them. Yeah, Kate already knows I've been all of them. I've been all of them through the last couple of months, Kate, because I think I have in quick succession. Oh dear. So this is a book that actually talks about change. So specifically about change and how, as people, we all have different ways of coping with change, and we tend to go through different thoughts and feelings about change, and the characters within the story represent those different types of responses, or different responses that we have. Dr. Spencer Johnson. Thank you, Heather. Coach Heather saves my bacon and my cheese and bacon. Thank you, Dr. Spencer Johnson. Interestingly, as I said, I read this first when I was 20. Oh, gotta be like mid-20s, I think. And totally didn't get much from it, because I was like, what are we talking about cheese and mice? I don't understand why this book is talking about mice and cheese. Makes no sense to me. But principally, there's 4 characters, 2 mice and 2 little men. And all 4 characters, I mean, it's not really explained why they live in a maze. They do. They live in a maze, and they are always looking for cheese. Now, the cheese represents, I don't know, you could say it's health, actually. Health, wealth. Nice car, nice house, great job, something of value, whatever it is. The cheese represents all good things in life, and these 4 characters are forever running around the maze looking for their cheese, because they want the cheese bad. All 4 of them want cheese bad, all about the cheese. The 2 mice, Sniff and Scurry, love those names. They're pretty much like quite logical. Sniff is always ahead, always seeking change ahead, always looking, constant, and Scurry is running after Sniff, going, yeah, I'm with you, seek and destroy. But Sniff goes out first, Scurry goes, yeah, with you, dude, we're going. And the mice navigate to find their cheese. They love their cheese. They use trial and error, right? So you go down one end, go, nope, no cheese, but I remember this cheese is not here. So I'm going to come back, I'm going to go this way. And then through constant going at it over amount of time, they essentially use their memory, but they work really hard, right? So they graft. These mice are grafters. They're little, do you call mice paws? Yeah, mice paws. Mouse paws? Mouse paws are red raw from running through this maze, constantly running and looking all the time. Hey, Morley, always looking for the cheese. I mean, Kate's read it. Is it Stilton? I bet, Kate, you were imagining Stilton in this book when you're reading this. Essentially, Jazz Lad. That was essentially Jazz Lad. So essentially, the mice, right? The mice are just mapping it out in their head. They just don't stop. We just don't stop grafting. Whereas the little men, him and Haw, Haw, before we get into it, they probably have shit. I have not. Jesus, guys. Were they Nike? That's true enough. They did have trainers. The mice have trainers, by the way. The mice and the little men have little trainers. I stand corrected. They do have little trainers. It's true. I forgot that. They have trainers. So they go out, put the trainers on, and they all go out running. The difference between the mice, though, because the mice are grafters, right? Because the mice are always going at it, is the little men use their beliefs and their emotions to navigate the maze. Imagine that. Quite a lot of hard work. And what happens is, even though they're all on the same task, the little men make it so hard. They make it really complicated. And every time they go down one particular route and don't find what they're looking for, it clouds their beliefs, right? So they get a bit like debating the hell out of it. Like, rather than just moving on, they debate the difference of where the cheese is not there and why it isn't there. And just essentially, rather than move on, they kind of debate it to death. Eventually, over a series of time, all four characters find cheese. These are cheese stations. I want to say C. Quite a lot of stations. They all find the cheese. It is a huge amount of fromage. Massive. The Grand Fromage used to be a student night at the Montfort. However, this is exactly what these guys all found. Right? They all found a massive amount of cheese. Everyone is happy. Everyone's like, this is an endless supply of the cheese. Now, the difference between these characters starts to come out. So every morning, even though cheese is there, all the cheese is there. The cheese is there. The mice put on their trainers. Still early. They get up early. Mice like this don't care. Still get up early. Sniff and scurry are like, get it in, get it in, get them little tiny little trainers on, tiny little whiskers, tie them up. Go out every morning. Inspect the cheese. Inspect it hard because they love their cheese so much. They love it, they love it, they're on it, they're on it. Cheese, my cheese, great cheese. Mice are there. At first, little men, him and Haw, they do the same. They're like, you know, I'm gonna have a look. Yeah, good. Still going early. And then, be like week 3 of lockdown, just as a step forward of where I'm gonna go with this. Started to sleep in a little bit. Wasn't really going out of bed for much. Not really, what's the word, excited about the cheese. They started to assume the cheese is always going to be there, right? So he's just started to assume it's going to be there. They got lazy, right? They saw the cheese as their property, right? Oh, this is mine. This is our cheese. Like, why are we Russian? Belongs to us. Like, it's always going to be there. Always going to be there. Heather, you're right, yeah. Is that the mice? I can't remember if that's the mice. The mice keep the trainers on around the neck, aren't they? Just in case. I think that the little guys, don't they, just don't even bother, do they? Just kind of throw them up in the corner. The little guys like this, screw the trainers. I don't need the trainers. They're always going to be here. I think it's going to last forever. And then over time, they're like, do you know what the story is? They even move. Hi, Claire. They even move their house to be next to cheese. I mean, firstly, that would stink, by the way. If you're going to move to live next to a lot of cheese, it would smell. But the point of this story, though, is they got basically the confidence of the little guys turned into arrogance. They just essentially thought, right, this is ours. This is always going to be ours. We will always win. This is our cheese. The mice do, yes. The mice do. What do the mice do? The mice keep them on. Yeah, the mice keep the trainers around the neck. So it constantly, at any point, Sniff might go, we're going, right? So that's exactly what happened. So even because the mice are coming every day, they look closely every single day. They see it. One day they go out early because the little guys are still like sleeping off the Netflix for the night before, still been up late. Again, week 3. Week 3 in lockdown. Everyone's laying in after Netflix and didn't find the cheese had gone, because that's what happened. So the little guy's sleeping in, not even asked anymore. Cheese is there, dude. Yeah, good night. Right. Mice go out and go, the cheese is gone. Now, I'm sure someone's going to correct me because I can't remember the exact details. I'm sure they just went, oh, let's just put the trainers on and go, because they kind of do. Because they're not surprised. Why aren't they surprised? Because they saw it coming. Because they've been going out every morning and look at it at dead close inspection. I mean, the little guys have moved the house next to it, so how they didn't notice is still beyond me. However, they did not. And so the mice are like this, right, let's go, let's just do it. Little bit in like, oh God, we're going to go again. Oh God, okay. I mean, it was quite hard work the first time, let's just get it done. And they're gone. And eventually, him and Hor arrive, and the favourite part of this is I think it's him, isn't it, that shouts, "It's not fair." I love it if you listen to it. Who moved my cheese? My cheese. Who moved my cheese? Hence the name of the book. Because the cheese is gone. It's like, my cheese. Because I own it. It's my property. Someone's taken my cheese. God damn it. And essentially, they both get frozen. They both stop. Have no idea what's happening. Start. Basically, I think it's a horror, isn't it? It's frozen in shock. They say it's frozen in shock. Doesn't know what to do with himself. And essentially, neither become productive in any way other than just keep looking at the fact that the cheese isn't there. And the point is, at this point, we understand that little guys have pinned so much of their happiness onto said article of cheese, right? So little guys are like, my entire happiness is based on this cheese, and now my cheese is gone. Someone has taken my cheese. Who moved my cheese? I have no happiness. Gone. And the mice are gone, by the way. Mice are totally gone. Mice are gone. You see them go through a process then, right, of 2 different sets of processes where him starts to question a little bit more. Like, he understands his life has a lot of scary unknowns, and he doesn't quite understand what's happening. He notices the mice are gone. He's like, the mice are gone. How is it the mice have gone? They've gone. Did they know? Did they know? Did they have somewhere ahead? He imagines them finding the cheese, right? That's quite sad, this part of the book, I feel. I feel the violins are playing. And they're gone, right? Claire's like, I came to this live, and why are we talking about cheese? Who moved your cheese, Claire? It's the book. I'm going through the whole story. So Claire is about change, and how people deal with change. Stick with me. You might get better, or you might still remain confused. One of the best bits, I think, is when him decides it's hidden, right? When him think it's hidden. I was like, I think someone hid it behind this wall, because I'm so sure the cheese is just going to return, right? Because Hor's like this, I loved my cheese. Hor's like, my cheese is my cheese. I want it the same. I want it back exactly the same as before, and no other cheese will do. It must come back as it was. It will not accept that something has happened, and something, I'm doing this like it's him. Something has changed and I'm not accepting it. And him's like, dude, maybe we should do something. And Hor's like, no, we will stay here. We will stay here until someone brings it back. Because someone took it, someone will bring it back. So we will stay here and do nothing. And it starts to get a bit desperate, doesn't it? If you read the book, they're like wasting away a little bit, because they're not doing anything. So fear's keeping them where it was. And at some point, I think it is. I'm going to get confused between the 2 characters. Is it Hor or is it him? It's Hor, isn't it? It starts laughing at himself, saying, "This isn't right. We need to do something. We need to move. I need to go." In fact, I get confused between 2 characters. Maybe somebody can correct me, but I think it's him, isn't it? Actually, sorry. That starts to laugh at himself. So this is just ridiculous. Everybody's ever been there when you just literally not know what to do for so long and get so stressed out. At some point, go, okay, I just got to do something else. It's insane. And actually, what he realises is that making the decision alone to decide to do something to change his state of mind makes him feel better, even though he's done nothing yet, right? He's not gone out and found the cheese. He's not done anything. But the fact of him thinking about doing it or making a decision makes him feel better. He starts to visualise, right? I talked about this yesterday. Visualises him finding cheese and how that's going to feel like to actually find it. Oh, it's Hem and Haw. Oh, hold on, it's Hem's face. That's it. Hem. I've always said it was him. Might have been his accent when he's reading it. Okay, yeah, it's Hall laughs. Yes, it's what. Apologies, got the two characters confused. Very sorry. So Hall laughs himself and then leaves, right? But he puts on his trainers tentatively, thinks about all the scary things that might happen at every corner. Imagines is the worst, let's be honest, because we all do that, and realizes that the fear is keeping him where he was. Sound familiar? We've all been there. But he felt the fear, didn't he? And he did it. The reality he found was less scary than actually doing nothing at all. Although that Hem stays behind, going, I'm not going anywhere, even though he's wasting away at this point, probably the huge beard and massive hair. Does it also sound familiar? And to get out of the comfort zone, he had to go. So Hawes, even while moving around, going, God, I just wish I'd moved sooner. I wish I'd done something sooner. Oh, ain't that hindsight a beautiful thing? And by the way, the mice have found the cheese. During all this, mice are like this. We've found something. It's different. It's all right. I'll take this. Mice are kind of like out of the point at this stage. Like, mice are happy. We don't even know. They're like, they're gone and done. And I find it quite, I mean, it's brilliant that the fact that Hall finds cheese, by the way. So Hall goes through the whole thing of like, going down the corner, finding my wall. Oh my God. He's writing messages on the wall. Like, I've finally come to the realization of my life. Going through the whole kind of Zen moments is this little guy. It all boils down to the fact he should have done something sooner, and he's done something, yeah? And then he finds his cheese, yeah? It's different. It's not the same. It's different. And he wants to go back to his other little guy and go, come on, Hem, have my cheese. We don't really know what happens with Hem, by the way, does he? He just kind of stays there. From remember his book. The idea is, though, the principles of it, and you have people talking out at the end as well, is that it's the ability of people to change with change or not. So essentially, when I was asking people, when I was listening to this a couple of weeks ago, it had amazing similarities with the whole lockdown situation and repeated lockdown situation of the Leicestershire area, in that basically everyone's cheese got took, didn't it, at the same time? So whatever it was, whether you associated your value in life to family, right, being able to see family or live with your family, whether you put your value on your income, right, if you went on furlough and had your income reduced, if you put your value in being able to move around, or freedom of choice to go out and socialize, if you put your value on your identity, as in this is what I do and this has been taken because my job has been taken, whatever it was, everyone's cheese got nicked at the same time. And the maze, by the way, is pretty much life, isn't it? The maze in all of us is our lives, and the cheese just got darn right took. So we will. That was for Claire, by the way. If she's still on here, I hope you are, Claire. I went a bit of southwest just for you there. Just for you. So everyone's cheese got taken at the same time. Isn't that correct English? It was so. We worked hard. A lot of us worked hard and long for something, to see one announcement from Boris to change everything for us. Everyone's cheese got taken at the same time, regardless of how hard you worked or what value you put it on. It all got taken at the same time. So hence why these four characters are really interesting, and why I said to people, if you're going to listen or read this book beforehand, it's really great to associate which character you think you are right now or have been, because of the four, you've got Radio Lover, yes. Okay, saying Ramosa is I say it's keep running, then you can get to eat cheese. Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay. So you got your four characters. So Sniff is always ahead, right? So Sniff is always seeing the change, and is one going out there and seeing it ahead of time. And Scurry, like I said, is always one going, "Dead, I'm with you. We're going. We're on it. We're on it. We're on it. There's no two ways about it. On it like a carb on it. Let's get it done." And then you've got Hem and Haw. Obviously, Haw, who wants to, even there's a bit, isn't it, in the book where Haw just goes, I'm not even going to look at what's going on right now because I can't deal. I'm just going to stare into space. And then you've got Hem, who just does literally makes no change throughout it. So let's then use those four characters analogy of what's happened through lockdown or currently, for example. So Sniff will be the character or the person through this who I've come across as a coach, who used the word opportunity really early on. So if you think of those four characters and how they deal with change, the first one Sniff was the client who said to me, I'm looking for opportunity. This is an opportunity, Helen, for me to explore something that I've put off. And actually I'm gonna, and this was early on as well, by the way, this would be like week 2 or 3, I'm gonna explore this. I'm gonna seek and find a new way of living my life, or a new way of dealing with this situation, and I'm not gonna hang about. Now, Scurry equally was probably a friend of Sniff, or potentially a family member, close family member, who through being around Sniff for long enough was like, yeah, I'm going with you. We're going together. Equally the clients who were doing Met class a lot, or automatically like, right, I'm on this, Helen, Sam, Heather, Sarah, this is what I'm doing. And in fact, yeah, I'm doing X, Y, Z. And often you catch up with them a week later and they're already ahead, right? They said, right, I was doing this, Helen, and I decided to do that. I think it was better for me. I felt better going out for walks, etc. I'm like, hey, Sniff, good. Oh, yeah, right. And then you go, yeah, and someone else come with you. Oh, so you took a Scurry with you. Great. Okay, so two personality types that cropped up during lockdown as the mice, right? And they essentially probably, even though there was announcements that upset during the way, they're always going. They're just going. Appear to be relentless, but it's just literally because they're always seeking, like the mice are, in going down the dead end. So like, from memory, I know this doesn't work for me. From memory, there are days where this works for me, we're going to go in this direction, and that's it, right? And then you've got the hem and haws, okay? So the haws are people who have been challenged along the way, right? And they're ready, though. They will take some encouragement, they take some support, right? They're the people who have asked the questions, felt the emotion around it. Same thing where it says, because the characters basically negotiate through, the two little characters, right, the little people negotiate with their beliefs and their emotions. So when there were big announcements, people's emotions were led in their decisions when it come to, okay, where the hell is my cheese? This is what happened. This is where both of these characters came out. Now, and this is what I said, like, when I'm saying this, it doesn't mean that all people have been one character all the way through. What I'm saying is I'm using these examples, and I'll get into that in a minute. Know that isn't necessarily true all the way through. That at some stage we've all gone, what the heck? Almost gone into like the fetal position of crash. And at some point, either for a minute, 5 minutes, or 5 days, stayed as whore and gone, what the hell? What do I do now? And this is terrible. And people called it the dip or the flow, is what some people described it as to me when they're talking about it. And I certainly felt it myself. I'm not inhuman. It's like the down days, the blips. They're all that whole character where people take the moment to go, oh, I don't know what we're doing right now. Oh God, okay, find a solution. Oh Jesus Christ, it's scary. Oh God, I've got to go to Asda. Oh Lordy, find a solution. Oh, I'll get through. I hope people didn't write with cheese on a wall, or write pictures of cheese on a wall at Tesco's. However, principally the same kind of process ish. And then you have got the hems. Hems are probably, and have been and will be, they are the exception. I will say this, so let me just say this now. The first 3 characters we go back to maths, Helen. The first 3 characters, some things have not changed through lockdown, still unable to count to 4. The first 3 characters, you've probably at some point dipped between one and the other. So at some point we've one been the other, dip back and forth before settling for a period of time. The 4th one, Hem, has to some sense is still the same character from the beginning as to today. Isn't a criticism, it's just human nature. This is a human nature. This is why the 4 character types of dealing with change. So the 4th character is probably going to be the person that asks me the most, and the rest of the team the most, within 5 seconds of the call. When is the gym opening? I'm like, not in the next half an hour. However, it is without guarantee a question I know will be asked within the call or within conversation, because it's a high priority to them that something returns to them exactly as they remember it. Similarly, Tim saying, I want my cheese back exactly as it was. Exactly. And nothing else will do. It is not the same. It does not taste the same, smell the same. And as much as the online classes, the outdoor workouts are not the same for some people, because what they want is what they had before. And until they have that, they may not move from their position, right? That's an example of that. However, there'll also be ones of similar with work. So until I'm back in the workplace, my life cannot go back the same. So until my cheese or my workplace is exactly back with me as I remember it, I'm going to work every day and my kids are back at school every day, there's some variations of this, right? Then they will stay in the same position. So that character, that fourth character, does not move and has not moved and will want everything exactly as it was before, just as the character in the book. Even to the point, I hope Amy's been digging out dumbbells like he was digging out cheese. However, principally it's the same thing. They are still waiting for something to be returned in the same way. So here's the thing, when I asked people to read this ahead and have a look at it, and I know that some of you, if you have, I know a couple of you already told me which characters you are, and it's interesting to see for those who have read or listened to it. I know, for example, Bally's already told me what character she is. If you've gone through this now, or previously when I've gone through this now, to identify what character you currently are, or you perceive yourself to be in the moment, because that will also dictate or help you be more aware of where else you could go. Now, it's not always possible to be that character, that first character, who's always ahead of change, right? Because they're so into depth of detail. That's personality type as well. So someone's really ahead of change and moves with change constantly. They're really ahead. Like I've said, and he's just popped off again, but I said this, that I said Sam is Sniff. He is. He's always ahead. He's always looking. He's always like this, constantly. His personality type to a T, even to the trainers, I'm sure, is Sniff. And I will go with him until the end of time. So I am literally like going, ha ha ha, coming. Right? So I know that. But I also know at times I've also been going, when will the gyms open? Or him going, I just want the gym back as it was. And then going, no, it can't be. So now I'm going back to Hall. I'm going to go, come on, get yourself in gear. Let's keep moving. Let's keep looking for something else. I'm going to go to Scurry now, and I'm going to go. Right? Or I'm going to start looking. We'll start looking, right? So this is the thing. You can choose to be for one character or another if you're conscious of what you're doing and behaving now. So Heather, you're still here. Heather, what were you? Heather, Frank Williver, I've gone, Claire, your influence. I've not done this for 112 podcast type live situations, Claire. You come on one and I turn into the West Country again. I don't even know how that happens. It's just your sheer presence on the internet, Kate. So, and interesting actually, if anybody else says this as well, what they think the moral of the story is. Because Kate, I still pretty sure Kate's. The moral of the story, as Kate sees it, is to keep running and then you get to eat cheese. Very true. Think about it though, if you think about it the other way, and it's true. But what the cheese represents, okay, right? So the cheese represents whatever you had before. I don't know. Let's use the gym, because I am using this analogy with people when they're talking about. They ask me about the gym when they're in that hem situation where they're like, I just want it back exactly as it was before, Helen. I want to be able to come in to the gym. I'm going to plie through. I'm going to wipe my hands over bowel space on the way in. Yes, hello. And I'm going to high five Sam, high five Helen. Walk in. It's not going to be the same. Like, it's not a bad thing, actually, as you find. It's not. The moral of the story is change is not bad, it's different. So, will the gym come back exactly as it was before? No. Will it come back better? Yes. Hands down. Will come back better. I'm making that statement. See my language. Ooh, check the language one as well. The gym will come back better. Right? It's going to taste different. It's going to smell different. It's the same principle when we talk about cheese as the gym. So the gym will come back different. It's not as someone will remember. It will be better. The same principle with work or money or anything else. Everything in life changes. That is a principle of life. And this is what characters like Hem, or if you've been in a Hem situation, struggle to comprehend, that everything in life changes. How you change with change is a definition of how you deal with it. If you choose to ignore it, like ignoring it is not happening, or become oblivious to it, so I'm just not going to keep checking that this is a situation, I'm not going to be aware, I'm not going to be mindful, I'm just going to assume everything's going to stay the same, I'm not noticing the cheese is depleting, right? That's not part of life. Part of life is understanding that everything always changes and it's okay. It's how you emotionally deal with it in your belief system that allows you to move faster with it. It's like the character goes, looking back when I was going, I really should have thought about this sooner. This is actually not as bad as I thought. I just didn't do anything for ages. Like how often we've been in situations like changing a job or a career, right? You go, oh God, can't do that. The money element, the travel. What if I'm no good at it? And then you do it and you're good and you're great, and then you go around and go, oh God, that was all right, wasn't it? Don't worry about that, right? This is the same principle. So when we talk about the story, this principle applies to all levels of change, whatever you come across in life. Because like, hug Helen. I know. Hug Helen on the way in. Yes. I mean, I've already said I will be inside one of those massive Zorb balls, Claire. So yes, you can absolutely hug me. It's just going to be very different. Be inside the ball. 2 meters and 1 meter at all times. I'm just going to come over like a hamster, Claire, and go, right, my lover, hug me. Well, this is the point when someone else joins, Claire, and they go, what the heck? Yes, I'm a massive hamster inside a ball, hug me. My cheese is different. Have that as a statement on a live or a podcast and go, where did I join this? I missed out some massive parts of this. So it'd be great, because nobody's commented yet. Heather, you tell me which character you are, Heather. Out of interest. Zoom. Bring Heather in. I would bring her on screen, but I don't know if it'd be good if I could. I'm good if Heather's had technology that allows her to come into the Sentry. Unfortunately. Bally, it'd be good for you to explain why you think you're a particular character and what that character is. And likewise, also Kate, which character you think you are, because you've read them. Because you said I've been all of them. I wonder if you've been all of them over the last few months, or which one you think you are now. I'm still scrolling. There's a lot of people on her. Look, I'm scrolling with control. No, don't want to do that. Yes, no, yes. Oh, doesn't let me do what I want to do. That's annoying. Oh, I know why. Aha. Can't do that. I was trying to be clever with technology. Again, not good. Who else is on here? Avni Sharma. You must have read this book to know which character you are. So Kate's saying, so basically you're different characters in parts of your life. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Yes, I would agree with you, Kate. I think as humans we are. If you consider it that actually in the workplace you could be a particular character, however in a relationship you might be something else. So the cheese at work might be, I don't know, a promotion, a job itself, and you, excuse me, you may be quite ready to change. You may be someone who deals with that, even change management, project manager, etc. at work, responsible for change, for delivering change. And yet in your personal life, the cheese might be the relationship itself or the love, and actually you're ignoring the signs that things are changing. So you're him or her, or you say, for example, if you think about the whore character, like knows there's something wrong in the relationship, knows that the cheese or the value is depleting in the relationship and not doing anything about it, or is oblivious to depletion of love, which is, see how deep this is. So if the cheese represents love in a relationship and you're not checking in that something is changing, before you know it, it's gone, right? And then the Hem character's like this, no, I can't see it going, no, just gonna stay here, do nothing, no. And then actually you might be the whore character that actually decides to do something about it and look for the love again and do the work again and find it and have different, and yeah, so yes, I think that's true. Hey, Daksha. So Bally's saying in the past I've been all of them. Presently I'm definitely stiff. Agreed. Had to adapt and change before. Now I'm prepared for change and adapt very quickly. I would agree, Bally. Yes, you are. You are definitely that character, and you definitely adapt and change. And it's interesting. It'll be interesting to understand if that was a conscious choice, or you just naturally fell into it. Because sometimes I think it has to be conscious. So Amily's saying, currently Hem book is on the way today. And that's interesting, Anthony, because I don't know if the character of Hem is massively understood in this book or not, or if in reality Hem is a very extreme. I think it is. It's like a polarized version of Sniff, deliberately so to exaggerate the behaviour. But it's the frustration and the anger, I think, as well, that comes out from a character like Hem, the person that does not change, and that's what comes across, is the frustration and anger that's turned in at the situation and not at himself. So you can't see how he could change the situation. It's the environment's fault. And I see that a lot at the moment, a lot over the last week or so. It's somebody else's fault. We all know what I'm trying to say here. It's somebody else's fault. It's someone's taken my cheese. Someone's taken my freedom. Mel Gibson. Don't know where that came from. I sense that's what it is. A lot of that, the frustration and anger in the Hem character going, I want life to go back to what it was, and somebody has done this. Somebody, shake fist. That person, shake fist. The frustration and anger, and yet also not also the responsibility of where that also sits with him. Like, how has he actually been dealing with things? What could he control and change? And the Hem character is a very extreme version of someone not willing to look at themselves and their own behaviours or their own emotions, right? So their emotions and belief systems, it's always somebody else's fault. It's always the environment's fault. It's always something else and not their own response to change that's the issue. And Avni, I don't know if that's necessarily you. I would disagree that's you, personally speaking, without going into detail, because I think you do a lot of work, actually, I would say. And I don't think that Hem is a character that looks at himself to do the work. He looks at somebody else to take the responsibility, and that's not you, I'd say. So Hem, Heather, when I first read this, I connected with Hor as he struggled with his fears and got frozen. Then also he discovered it was important to change and move and keep going forward. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good sentence. I'm going to come back to that. I can identify with Hor's realisation and adaptation. I read it today. I read it today. Can't do English. Also can't count to 3. I can still identify with him. But I've struggled to read that out, Heather. I should do that again. You know, everybody's so one about words and language, you know why. I can still identify with him, but only as he leaves his comfort zone and goes on his journey, the mice seem more real now. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, for sure. Actually. Kate's saying, in different two characters to different people. Yes. And there's always someone talking about the polar opposites. So polarization of two characters is really important when you think about it. So Kate's saying, yeah, Heather, you know, pick up on that. So Kate's saying about different characters for different people. Yes. Let's be honest, most people usually fall into category when it comes to change. When I'm just using, you can't get any clearer example of how this text works to life right now than the last couple of months. Really, let's get real. Like, there is literally no massive amount of change that's happened on such a huge global scale as right now. So this parable, as it's called, right, or story, whatever you want to call it, is so applicable to right now. It's ridiculous, right? Clearly, it's just near on ridiculous how applicable it is. However, we all know. And by the way, I'm using this because it's such a level playing field, because I'm saying everyone's life changed. So everyone's reaction to change fell into these categories, regardless, bottom line. However, some people are always predispositioned. Take that one. And it's just a swallow moment. Predispositioned, see, I just struggled to say that a second time. basically they'll act the same way every time. Let's just say that without fancy word with too many syllables at this time of the day to manage. They will always react in a certain way. And if you work with somebody or have someone in your personal life, or unfortunately live with someone who is always in the hem situation, you will know that their response is always fundamentally the same to any mass amount of change, whether it's the weather, the car not starting, or I don't know, anything, right? Frustration and anger, it is the car's fault. My God, how dare you car not work? Why do not work? Damn you weather. It's not very frustrated. You get the idea though. Some people will always react to change in a certain set way until they become more aware of it. And the idea is that you start to identify how you really want to deal with change once you understand who you are. So yeah, okay, I agree with you. Even though some people will go through different characters in different situations, or be different characters in situations, some people are more likely to be the same character if they're opposite ends. So as you're saying, thank you for the story, I get the moral. It makes sense in my head. Yes. So thank God, I thought it was a typo. So since a typo, I meant the one that sees further moving forwards. Yes, I agree. I think you are that character. And yes, you're right, Heather. I was always going to pick up on your language there. I mean, it's impossible to do a recap, by the way. Oh, also, just out of interest, it's yes, you can identify yourselves in these characters. I think it's always interesting to pick up on those around you as well, to see where their response to changes or how they're dealing with it. Because it's also quite fascinating. And I'm not saying you go up to someone and go, "You are whore," because that could go wrong. Oh, sorry. HAW. Could go wrong. Could go really wrong, especially in a public place. So don't do that. But taking a mental note of how somebody deals with change helps you understand what their thought process might be when you've read or listened to the text, because you understand, or it gives you understanding of the internal thought process. Because I would say this: if you are somebody who is a sniff, like Bally and like Sam, they will, well, less like Sam to be fair, but potentially if you're at one end of the scale, it seems so much harder sometimes to understand someone at the opposite end. Like, why the heck are they back there not moving yet? Why they're not doing the Met class? It makes no sense to me. I mean, I'm right here enjoying the Met class like it's the best cheese I've ever experienced, and they're back there going, "Oh no, I'm not getting involved." And Hem's there going, "I don't want to do it. I'm fine here. I don't want to do anything. I'm just staying here. I'm cool, right? I'm all right. I'm here going, what's going on my own, and I'm good. I'm not doing the Met class. I don't want to do the Met class. Why are they doing the Met class? Because I'm just happy doing nothing, right?" And that is where it gets interesting, and that's where it's always good to be aware of that because when you get the opposite ends of the scale, they very rarely understand each other's response to change because they're so used to falling straight into that behaviour. So straight into get stuff done. I don't know what the word I was going to use, but get stuff done, keep moving, go, seek opportunity, move, go. And the other character's like, no, they're not going to understand each other. However, this is a great way of helping you understand why people have these responses. These are all natural responses, by the way. These are all normal responses to change. They're just examples of how to explain it to people. I mean, I'm not going to recap that. I mean, it could be the next half an hour recapping this again. Basically, there's some cheese. It got taken. That was lockdown. However, the story of how the cheese and why people respond to change so slowly and don't have trainers around their neck. I mean, really, this is a confusing live at this point. However, essentially the basis was, and I'll stick with the same principle, it's all about how you change with change. So how do you change with change is depicted by these four characters. And as I said, it's all natural and normal. And it's always great to understand which one you are and which one you want to be potentially as well. Because you can change and flex between all those characters at any given time, and like Kate pointed out, you can be different characters in different environments and different situations. It's not set in stone. That's the thing. Or could have been the same character as Ham. They could have both stayed there together. However, he chose not to, because, and I think this is a poignant moment, I said it earlier, maybe because I identify with it, because this is what I do, I have done historically. Like, if I'm having a moment where I'm really about to lose my marbles, I'll literally just pause, take a breath, and just go, ridiculous. Why do I do it to myself? Why am I sitting here like this? And I was like, this is just, I do laugh at myself a lot sometimes when I get there. and you're going to have someone sauce. Have you found your cheese? Well, this is the principle as well about the whole of lockdown situation. If you use the same, if you we're using the same analogy as the book, right? 3 of the 4 characters found their cheese and they were happy, far happier than when they decided to stay where they were. And I'm not saying everybody has to do the Met class to be happy. What I'm saying is that there's a variation of something out there of movement and progress. Thank you for that dropping a bomb there, Heather, because I've got live on that next week, she says, at some point, about progress and happiness. Because, and there's a key point in there when the character says that he recognises Susie made the decision to do something he felt better. So making a decision to do something makes everyone feel better, even if it's different to what it was before and it's not the same as everybody else. It's a way of you moving forward to find what your value is rather than doing nothing. And that still makes or creates that sense of joy or fulfillment by moving forward. I had a conversation with a client about this today, that just the process of moving forward is enough momentum to make someone feel better, even if it's not what everybody else is doing or what everybody else's cheese is or what their cheese was before. The full process of seeking and looking for it is hands down, and you make the statement, always enough to get some value, because it's, again, still better than staying in fear and doing nothing. So there you go. Who Moved My Cheese? Great book. I'm not going to eat any cheese for a bit. I feel like I talked about cheese for 40 minutes of my life. I did. So, and then went West Country with it as well. Thank you, Claire, for that cameo appearance from you. Made my day. So enjoy your cheese or any other thing you do this evening to find happiness. So, by the way, how can you lure a bear out of a cave? Heather, how do you lure a bear out of a cave? Question mark. Please give me the answer, because if I don't get the answer, and I'm going to go in, because I've talked about luring a bear out of a cave. I'm fasting today, Heather. All this talk of camembert. Oh, Jesus. Camembert. Should we do that? I can't. Oh my God, let's do it again. I've got red blood. How do you lure a bear out of a cave? Camembert. Literally. Oh. And when I'm doing my own heart up the screen like this going, hashtag brilliant. Maybe whatever without you, Heather. And this is why I'm still trying to get Heather on the live, because I think between the two of us, it would be brilliant. Problem is my cameras are big enough to get us 2 meters apart inside of space, so, or outside. So at some point, Heather, you and I need to actually fix doing a live together and just do this stuff for 40 minutes. I think Heather took the biscuit there, or the cheese biscuit. Well done, Heather. Round of applause for Heather. All right, on that note, have a lovely evening, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye.